Okay, almost similar pronunciation is there, but spelling is different. Okay, lawyer is an attorney. Okay, the person expert in law. And liar are the people who are speaking lies, right? So we are talking about different liars and adjectives that we can put before them, and in that context we talked about summus. So you see how our chapter was developing, like we had consummate liar, okay, from this particular root. We had a notorious liar, okay. Then we had incorrigible liar, okay. Then we had inveterate liar, okay. And then we had congenital liar. Congenital liar. Now we have few more adjectives which we can once again associate to our liars, and then to other things also, and then we will talk about some other words also connected to certain roots. Okay, so we talk about 3 or 4 more roots today, and the first one is chrono. Can you all hear me properly?
Yes.
Okay, so first is chrono, and it simply means time. Okay, time, or maybe uh, events which are happening in a sequence. Okay, and just to remember this root, notice that it is similar to our Hindi or Sanskrit word kram. Okay, kram and chrono, or chromo, not chromo is something else. Chromo is color, chrono is time. Okay, something related to kram, because in time also you talk about different things in kram. Okay, one after another. So this chrono is there, and with chrono we have a score of different words. Okay, let us just discuss some of them. Okay, so first is chronic. Okay, so this root is there, chron, and chronic is something which happens again and again for a long period of time. Okay, so it repeats, and for a long period of time. Two ideas are there: repeats and for a long period of time. So that particular thing is called chronic. Okay, coming again and again for a long period of time, repeats, right? So how do we use this word? Like there can be a chronic disease. Okay, so like if you have chronic cough, let's say, then you have a cough problem which might be congenital also, and which is coming again and again, almost, let's say every other month, and you suffer from it. It disappears also, but it comes once again. Okay, so that we say it's a chronic. Okay, it is coming again and again, time and again. Okay, so chronic disease, chronic problem can also, you can say, any problem which is resurfacing again and again, that is called a chronic problem. Like terrorism is a chronic problem, border issue is a chronic problem, racism event or racism accidents, chronic problem. Okay, they disappear but they come again, and for a long period of time, or from a long period of time. Okay, so chronic things are there. In fact, diseases, can be of two kinds: chronic and acute. Chronic and acute diseases can be there. So chronic is that disease which is coming again and again for a long period of time. and acute is something, or acute disease is something which is coming very fast and it stays for a shorter period of time. Okay, like simply you can take the example of headache. Now chronic headache also can be there. Okay, a person is suffering from chronic headache. Then if in graph terms, it would be something like this. It is coming again and again. Okay, like this. Now if I say that your headache is acute, okay, then you generally don't feel headache, but once in a while you feel it and it is very intense, okay, very painful, and it rises quickly and maybe it goes away also quickly. So its graph can be like this, simply like this. Okay, so chronic disease and acute diseases are there. Generally two kinds of things are there. Okay, and then acute problem will not come again likely. Okay, but chronic will once again come back. Now in our context, when we say that somebody is a chronic liar, now I think you can easily guess the meaning of chronic liar. So chronic liar is a liar who is repeatedly telling lies. Okay, in that sense you can call a people chronic liar. Okay, and you can attach this adjective to other words also as per your context and creativity. Okay, now next word we have is anachronism. Okay, anachronism. Two roots are there, ana, and in fact three are there, anachron and ism. Ism is a suffix which says that particular type of philosophy or theory. Okay, ism or vad, what we call in Hindi or Sanskrit. Okay, and ana is out of here. Okay, now literal, and chrono is of course time, so anachronism is out of time. Out of time. Okay, now we describe things as anachronistic and the process or the noun is anachronism. Okay, how? Okay, so we are simply living in present or 2020 or 21st century, and suppose if we see something which is from a different time period, okay, then that thing is anachronistic. Simply that is from a different time. Okay, so like movies are there, which describe something about mythology or history. So if they have illustrated or displayed things quite well, then we say that this movie has a nice anachronism, nice display of anachronism. Okay, and anachronism means out of place, out of time, from a different time period. Okay, so something can happen in 2020 also. Suppose if on a street somewhere in Delhi you somehow come across a tanga, okay, yeah, bullock cart. If you come across that suddenly, then you will say what an anachronism. Okay, because this is something of the past. Okay, like if today some people in a strange way are using our old, the first Nokia mobiles, let's say 3310 was there, a famous model, one of the first ones of Nokia mobile, then again you will say it's an anachronistic mobile, or simply you will say what an anachronism. Okay, so something out of time. Okay, and so far we have been talking about past. It can well apply to future also. Okay, something of future is displayed in present, that is also technically an anachronism. Okay, so it happens once again in novels, okay, like in Star Wars movies. Things about future is being talked about, okay, things about future is being talked about. So once again you will say that there is anachronism, okay, out of time or from a different time something is being brought back or being displayed in present, so we call that thing anachronistic. Okay, I hope that is clear. Then we move to our next word, which is the other side of anachronism, because two things are there, time and place. We have been talking about time, and now let's talk about place. So incongruous simply means out of place. In here is negative and congruous is agreement, okay, so which does not match with the space simply. So how to remember this? Always remember in pair anachronism and incongruous. Anachronism is something which is out of time and incongruous things are out of place things, and definitely or certainly things which are out of place, they are not going to match properly, okay. So how do we use this word? If something or some event you find which does not fit in a particular place, then you can call that thing incongruous, okay. Let's talk about certain examples, like dresses are there. So for a particular occasion or for a particular place, different dresses are prescribed. Let's say wedding dress is there, and if you wear your wedding dress or some kind of wedding dress, party wear dress, simply when you are at home, so that is an incongruous dress, not suitable, okay. In the universities or your colleges, let's say you go to the classroom and in simply lower and t-shirt or half pant, that is also may be termed as incongruous dress, okay. So such things are incongruous, which do not match with the proper place, okay. So incongruous items can be anything, okay. Suppose let's say even this deer is here, okay. So if this is found on the streets of a city, then we will say that this is something incongruous, we don't find it generally there, okay. So something which is out of place is called incongruous, okay. Old things or out of place things are there, then that is called incongruous, okay. So anachronism is out of time and incongruous is out of place. We move ahead, and we have this, you might be knowing this word, it became very popular recently.
Which root exists in incongruous?
Congruous is agreement.
What is exists?
In is negative, okay. In is negative or negation, and congruous means agreement. So in fact things which are not in place, they are not agreeing to the situation.
There's three parts in this word, incongru and
Us.
us.
So us is a suffix.
So, us suffix.
Okay. So us denotes something full of, okay. Something which is full of is called us, OUS. तो एग्रीमेंट से डिसएग्रीमेंट से फुल है ये चीजें, therefore in
congru means
congru is something like agreement, okay.
what?
Agreement.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes.
Okay, then we come back to our word chronology. Now here also you have these two roots, chrono and logy, and this term became quite popular also, in fact with our honorable home minister, he has been using this word again and again, chronology, okay. He says try to understand the chronology. So what is the meaning of that? Chrono is time. Logy is, a systematic study or systematic explanation is called logy. So chronology is the description of something larger, something complicated, event by event. Okay, what happened first, then what happened second event, third event, fourth event. Okay, simply Kalkram it is called, chronology. Okay, so here also you have this important root, chrono. Okay, in history classes also you have so many lists of chronology where things are given year wise, okay, or maybe decade wise. So that is also called a chronology, or a systematic representation of something in order of time. Okay, what happened first, what happened second, what happened third and fourth, and so on. Okay, so I hope this is clear, but you must know the interesting root behind this, which is chrono. Chrono is time, or kram simply. Now synchronize. In this word you have two or three parts. Syn is together. Okay, syn is together, and chronize, as you can see, is or has something to do with time. Okay, so it literally means together time. How do we use this word? When two things or two events, or simply two people also can be there, two moves can also be there. When two things happen at the same time, that is called synchronizing or synchronization. Okay, why? Because they are happening at the same time, right? So how do we use this word? Let me give you certain examples, then it's gonna be clear. Okay, like in a dance performance where in fact so many dancers are there, so you see there is a perfect agreement among the moves of different dancers. Okay, they are moving, so what we say, the moves are synchronizing with each other. Okay, one person, when the one person is raising his hand or her hand, then the other person is also raising his or her hand at the same time, so their moves are synchronizing. And if they are not synchronizing properly, then the performance is bad, you can say. Okay, so in dance we have synchronization of moves, so moves are happening together in time. Okay, then you can take the example of military parade also, the way we observe on our Republic Day. So there also, when people are moving, when the troops or the soldiers are moving, their movements of hands and legs and everything is in perfect order, perfect agreement. So there also their moves are synchronizing perfectly, even in the fraction of second they don't change. So there is perfect synchronization which is displayed uh, at the Republic Day, around our India Gate parade. Okay, so there also you have perfect synchronization, things are happening at same time. In fact, in your IT also, in computer also, this synchronization is there. So let's say you have so many devices, you have your smartphone, okay, and you have your laptop also, and you have your PC also, personal computer. So let's say you log in with your account here, and if your synchronization function is on, okay, then whatever you do here will be automatically registered and displayed on this device also, second device, and on third device also, if synchronization is on. So what is happening there, at the same time, if you do something here, at the same time things are getting registered on other devices also. So this is also called synchronization in the context of IT field, okay, information and technology. So there also this word is there. Okay, so this word is important. Synchronization, right? Things are happening at the same time. And a bad synchronization means bad network, bad communication. So like whatever I'm writing here, which is technically called annotating. Last time we had talked about that. Whatever I'm writing here with my pen, it must synchronize properly. That is to say that it must be displayed on your screen at the same time. अगर synchronicity नहीं है, then there will be a bad communication. Okay, so sometimes in your videos or in some videos on YouTube or internet, there is no synchronicity between voice and video. Okay, video is going ahead and voice is lapsing behind, so there also synchronicity is not there. So in such things we need synchronicity. That is to say that they should happen at the same time. That is called synchronicity. And it's a verb also. We synchronize so many things. Like directly we can say that let me synchronize my watch with you. Synchronize my watch with you. When will I say that? Suppose I have a watch and its battery is dead, so its time is disturbed, and I go to the market, I buy the battery and or sell, and I put it there. Then I want to match the time of my watch now with another watch, let's say your watch, which is running perfectly. So what will I say? Let me synchronize my watch with you. And we do that also. So when we match the time, what are we doing? We are synchronizing. Okay, so that both the devices go at the right time or at the same time. So that is how we use this synchronize, synchronization, synchronicity, all those different forms of speech. Right. Next word is symbiosis. It's not there in your book, but I have mentioned this because we just talked about this root syn, which is together, and biosis, as you know, something related to life. Symbiosis simply means living together, and it's an important concept and idea which we probably know also, but may not know in English terminology. Nevertheless, it's important, fascinating, and significant also. So what is this? In our environment, at many levels or at all the levels, you can see that things are interconnected or things depend upon each other, and there are mutual benefits. Certain interactions are there where a species will have mutual benefits from each other. So like this example I've this picture is there, deer and crows. So crows are there, they are sitting on the skin or the back of this deer, probably to eat some insects. Okay, so they are also satiating their hunger. Okay, they are getting something to eat, and deer on the other hand is also benefiting from this act, because insects might cause some disease to this animal or to this deer. So deer also gets some benefit and crows also get some benefit. So this process is called symbiosis, or these two animals are living in symbiotic relationship. Similarly, in nature or in our entire environment at different levels, there are examples of symbiosis. Okay, in fact in our families also there is symbiosis, supposedly. Okay, so some people from the family might go in the market and earn some money. Some people might cook, okay, some people might do some other works, and they are mutually benefiting each other, because it's a common sense that no one person can do all the jobs. Okay, so in family also symbiosis is there. In fact, in entire society, it depends upon symbiosis. Different people, different institutions are there, and they mutually help each other. Okay, so it's a positive term. Do not say that they mutually exploit each other. Okay, they mutually help each other. Okay, so in family, you don't say that you know they are exploiting each other, they are helping each other. So symbiosis. Okay, so these people are, or these creatures are not exploiting each other, mutual benefits are there. So nature has evolved, or nature has designed us in such a way that we live in symbiosis, and we acknowledge this fact of life. Okay, so an important and very significant idea. Okay, symbiosis, sim is together, bio is life, symbiosis. Okay, एक कंपनी का नाम भी है symbiosis.
I think there is a solid name also.
I think, yeah. So symbiosis. So there also, if it's a college, then teachers, students, or all the staff, they are helping each other. That is why symbiosis. Okay, one guess is there. Okay, last word, or in fact, two more words are there. One thing is called chronometer. You might come across this word. Chrono is time, and what is meter? Let me ask from you.
Metron.
Metron is what?
Measurement. Something to measure.
Measurement. Okay, so time measurer is called chronometer. And what is a time measurer? A watch.
Watch.
So we have this old and a fashionable way of saying watch. You can also call chronometer. Okay, you will sound more posh when you say that chronometer. Okay, simply an old name for watch. You can use today also. And technically or historically speaking, the picture which you can see here is a chronometer. Okay, and it was generally used during ship voyages. Okay, so you see during ships when they are voyaging on the over the sea, then there the sailors, okay, those who are driving the ship, they carry this particular watch, and that is packed in a box also, something like that. Okay, so that was called chronometer, and this term exists even today also. You can quite confidently call a watch as chronometer, and people will be surprised. Okay, and I think there is a brand also which sells watches, and that brand name is Chronometer. I'm not sure. Okay, so check it out on Google. Okay, so last word we talk from our root chrono is chronicles. Now chronicles are the chronological display of events. Simply, chronology is the, you can say, the process, and chronicles are the actual events. Chronicles are the actual events which are happening from one time to another time, in a order, also in an order. So how do we use this word? Like we say there is a movie also, and famous novel also, Chronicles of Narnia. Okay, so what is given there? Something about Narnia is given there, and the chronicles are described there. Chronicle means different events as they happened. Okay, there can be chronicles of Rama also. So this is what? This is Ramayana. So Ramayana contains chronicles of Rama. Okay, Lord Ram. So this way we use this word chronicles also. Different events which are happening in time. Right? So I hope that is clear. And so we have so many words with chrono, and whenever you come across any word which contains some kind of chrono, then you try to infer its meaning. And in our context, we had this term chronic liar. Now, who would be a chronic liar? The person who is repeatedly telling lies. As simple as that. Okay, so I hope this adjective is clear now. Chronic. Okay, next we can talk about the root which we can talk about is pathos, and it is a bit confusing also, but let us try to understand. Okay, so one, pathos means treatment of diseases, okay, or related to disease. Simply it has two meaning, this root, disease and feeling. So maybe two completely, you can say, opposite, or one is neutral and one is negative meanings are there. One meaning is disease, one meaning is feeling of this root pathos. And then we see how terms are coined. Disease and suffering, let's talk about. So you might be knowing so many pathological centers are there, or pathology centers are there in fact. So pathology, one meaning of pathology is the study or examination of a disease. This is it clear? Pathology.
Yes.
So you have so many pathology centers. So what happens there? Something like this. Okay, many examinations will be there of different cells or tissues or of your body part, and they will tell you about something about your disease. That is pathology, and not pathological. Pathological is something else. Okay, so one pathology is this study. It's a particular discipline. Pathology, I am studying pathology. So from the context you will know what this means. Another pathology is there which can means a disease. Okay, and then we have, from this pathology we have pathological. From this particular pathology we have pathological. So pathological means related to disease. So if some problem, or you are pathological in a certain way, then you are diseased. Okay, so this is how this meaning has slightly changed. So once again let me repeat, one, pathology is the science of examination or study of disease. One, pathology or pathological is disease itself, and when you are diseased, then I will say that you are a pathological person. Okay, and these two words are negative. Okay, any mental or any social problem is also called pathological problem. Okay, so in our context we have used pathological liar. Okay, so pathological liar वो है जिसका lying एक disease type का बन गया है, he always lies. Okay, so he's a pathological liar, you can say. So it's a negative word of criticism. You say to somebody that you are a pathological liar, then it means that you have a mental problem of telling lies. Okay, pathological liars. And in fact recently one newspaper also used this term for United States President Donald Trump, that he is a pathological liar. Okay, people say like that. Okay, so depending on your context, you can call the politicians of your opposite party as pathological liar. Okay, so this word has been used in politics quite often. Okay, I think some BDN, yeah, BDN newspaper or news agency is there which calls Donald Trump as pathological liar. Okay, and okay, so in this context also we say, and generally, you know, politicians, they say to their opposite politicians that they are pathological liars. Okay, right. So this was, you know, a slight distinction between pathological and pathology 1 and pathology 2, which is disease. Pathology 2, which is just examination of disease, the discipline, the study, all those things. Okay, now one or just another meaning of pathos is feeling. One was disease or related to disease. Then we have one pathos which simply means feelings. Okay, so this root has one another meaning which is feeling. Now we have a few important words which we commonly use in our communications, but sometimes we confuse. These four words are there: sympathy, empathy, apathy, and antipathy. And important distinctions are there among these words, and we must know about them quite clearly. Otherwise, there will be a blunder in communication. So let us understand them and let us break them also. So sim, as I told you, is together. And pathy is feeling. Pathy is feeling here. So here it is not disease. Here pathos is not disease. Here pathy simply means feeling. So when you have sympathy with somebody, okay, or somebody, so that somebody is in certain problem, and you simply sympathize with him, that, you know, I understand your problem, and, you know, maybe I have gone through it. So what I say, I sympathize with you. Okay, so I'm together with your feeling. As simple as that. Now there is, people have discovered or coined this word empathy. So empathy is a higher degree of sympathy. Okay, let's say, and this happens to like people like, you know, monks are there or saints are there. They claim that they have empathy. That is, they have higher degree of sympathy. So what happens in empathy? They become, so em here means in, and pathy is feeling. So when you have empathy with somebody, you actually become identical with that person. Okay, which is very difficult. So when somebody is going through a certain grief or pain, okay, if that person is, let's say, your brother or your mother, so what you have, empathy, the way that person is feeling the pain, exactly the same way you also feel the pain. So that is called empathy. Okay, so close relations are there, like, you know, siblings or mothers and their, you know, kids. So they have empathy, they don't have sympathy. Now a mother with her child will not have sympathy. Okay, I sympathize with you, mother will never say. Mother will say, I have empathy with you. Okay, the way her child is feeling the pain, the mother also feels the pain. Okay, so this kind of concept is there. Empathy is directly going inside the feeling of somebody, and sympathy is just, you know, being together with somebody at the moment of loss or some grief. Okay, so this important distinction is there. Although both are positive word, but simply this is, you can say, one positive and this is double positive. Okay, now two negative words. This is once again one negative, here is two negative. Now apathy, what is apathy? A is negation, no. A simply means no. All of you please turn off your mics. Apathy is when somebody is having any problem or going through any distress or pain or agony, and you are not at all affected by that. So you neither have sympathy, you neither have empathy, you don't have antipathy, you don't have any feeling, you are indifferent to that person. Okay, you are neutral. Okay, neither you sympathize nor empathize nor anti, nor you have antipathy. So you are apathetic person. Okay, or you have apathy with him. Remember the way we did apolitical, asocial, amoral. So in all those words we have this concept of indifferentness or neutrality. Okay, so apathy. Now the opposite of sympathy or empathy is antipathy. Anti is opposite. Okay, so it is not simply plain negation, it is opposition. So antipathy is you have opposite feeling. Let's say somebody is sad, okay, and you are happy because of that. So what you have? You have antipathy. Okay, somebody has lost his near or dear ones and you are happy because that person is your enemy. You can say you don't like that person, maybe that person is from the your arch enemy, can be from another political party, from another country if you hate that country. Okay, so if they suffer, you enjoy from the sufferings of other. If you are becoming happy, then that is called antipathy. You enjoy the suffering of that particular person. So this is just the opposite of sympathy or empathy. Okay, so these four words very important. We must remember their distinction and use them carefully. Okay, in different contexts. Okay, subtle differences, but keep them always in mind. And when people are using these words, then also try to understand what they want to say. When somebody is saying empathy, they mean something different. When your friend is saying that I sympathize with you, that is different. And when your friend is saying I empathize with you, that is totally different. Okay, so try to understand these words. Okay, one more word we have from pathetic or pathos. The word is pathetic. So pathetic is that which causes some kind of suffering. Okay, ik is there, the suffix, that which belongs to pathos. Okay, so pathetic is something which is arousing or causing suffering. Or causing also. So those stories, you can say, which arouse some kind of grief in you, some kind of sorrow and pain in your mind, that you can say that it's a very pathetic story. Okay, so in newspapers when you read so many things about so many crimes, heinous crimes, okay, so what you say, it's a very pathetic story. Okay, like when we heard about different migrants and their hardships when they traveled and some of them died also on their way. Okay, so we call that a pathetic incident or a pathetic story of a particular migrant. Okay, so that is a pathetic story. Okay, sorrowful. So pathetic simply means sorrowful. Okay, pathetic problem, pathetic story, pathetic thing, pathetic event, all those things, right? Then we have our last word, which is telepathy. You might have heard this word. Now let us break them and try to understand their its etymology. Now tele is something far away, always. Tele is something dur. Okay, tele, like in telephone you have. So what is there? Tele is far away and phone is sound. So through telephone you hear the sound which is far away. Telephone. Telegram you have. Gram is something written or something writing, related to writing, and tele is far away. So telegram is a message which is received from far away, distant place. So telegram, telephone, telecommunication, all these things are there. So one thing is telepathy. Tele is far once again, and pathy is feeling, as you know. So when two people are having telepathy, and it's a super normal power, ordinary people don't have it, okay, or very few people have it. So telepathy is when when you are connected just with mind. Okay, no proper communication is there, just like via mobile or any kind of communication that we have today. But still some people through their mind and through their feelings actually. So connecting through feelings is called telepathy. So two people are at a distant place, they come to know how they are feeling. Okay, so this is called telepathy. Let's say one is a mother, one is a child. Okay, the child is let's say hundreds of miles away from the mother. Then also when the child is ill, the mother feels something. If she feels, then she can say that she is having some kind of telepathy. Okay, so mind to mind connection based on feelings is called telepathy. Many animals also display some tendencies of telepathy. Okay, they can communicate through invisible feelings. Okay, so this is a super normal science we still do not know much about. Okay, right? So when feelings are communicated over a long place, over a distant place, without any proper known media and through invisible channels, that is called telepathy. Okay, so with this we finish. I think we have completed chapter or session 16. Okay, 15 we have already done yesterday. We had done yesterday, and today we have done some roots from. In fact, all the things from session 16 we have completed, and now you can easily and quite confidently complete the exercises which are there in chapter 16. Okay, it will just take maybe around 30 minutes, and you will get the proper experience, and you will get the hang of these words. Many are there, in fact most are there in your books, but many may not be there in your books. So I have given you some extra words also, so keep that also in your vocabulary, and go on practicing with the exercise or exercises of session 16. Okay, so with this we end today, and I'm here for 5 more minutes. If you have any questions or suggestions, then please let me know. All right, so over to you now.